Welcome back to another episode of Rock Boys Football. 5 most important breakout players for this Miami Hurricanes program heading into 2024. And this is an episode that I am extremely fired up to get into. We've talked at length about Cam Ward, Xavier Restrepo, Ruben Bain, but I want to take a look at this Hurricanes program and kind of ask the question, if this Miami team reaches their potential in 2024, who are the players that are breaking out in 2024? Want to get into some of those names. Extremely excited to get into it. Before we do, and as always, just want to say thank you to you guys, to the Miami fans. It's been a blast talking this program. The amount of support that you guys have shown over the last couple of weeks, it truly does mean a lot. If y'all do enjoy the content, consider subscribing to the channel. Much more importantly, I always get a ton of great feedback from you guys. I would love to hear some names that you guys have as potential breakout candidates for this Hurricanes program. And again, more importantly, who are the players that we need to see break out in that 2024 year? And without further ado, let's get into this one. And I want to start with a position that I think can be really good for this Hurricanes program in 2024, especially with how Mario Cristobal, Shannon Dawson want this offense to operate, and that's the tight end room. Now, I went with Riley Williams. If you wanted to go with Elijah Arroyo, if you wanted to go with the true freshman Elijah Lofton, I certainly wouldn't be making any arguments against those players. Why I'm going with Riley Williams is, you look at how Miami wants to operate on the offensive side of the football. They go and get Damian Martinez in the transfer portal. They have a very good offensive line, not to mention Mark Fletcher. They want to be a program that dominates the line of scrimmage and runs the football. And you're going to want to use a tight end to run the football effectively in this ACC in 2024. Riley Williams can get it done in the run blocking department. One of the more impressive true freshmen at the tight end position, coming in and kind of dominating along the line of scrimmage, which is not necessarily a surprise. In 6'6", 240, he is a physically imposing tight end when it comes to getting it going in the run blocking department. What I think would be massive for this Hurricanes program is if you can get a tight end that can be a matchup nightmare in the passing attack as well. And again, if you were to ask me who I think is going to be that guy, I'm going to go with Riley Williams at 6'6", 240. Many of the Miami fans who've been rocking with the fellas for really the last 2 years at this point, we talked about this kid when he committed to Miami and just saying how a natural pass catcher he is for that frame, how good he is after the catch, how well he can command the middle of the field. I think if they get a tight end to emerge as a pass catching threat with some of the wide receiver talent that you have on the boundary, I think this is how you elevate this Hurricanes program. I have Riley Williams being that guy. Now, it could be Elijah Arroyo. It could be Elijah Lofton. It's a talented tight end room, but I think a lot of Miami fans are sitting here and saying, we got to see one of those guys kind of break out in 2024, because that would mean the world to this offense for the Hurricanes in the fall. Number 2 player on the list, going to the defensive side of the football, and kind of a transfer portal addition that in my mind just kind of flew under the radar with some of the flashier grabs that Miami made, is Mishael Powell coming in from Washington, a defense last year that competed for a national championship. And where I want to start with Mishael Powell is the experience and versatility that he brings to this Hurricanes defense. This is a guy that probably will and certainly can play that nickel role, but can play the free safety role, can play as a box safety. The experience is huge, because you look at this Hurricanes defense and say, in the back end, there's not a ton of experience. We like the talent that's in the Hurricanes back end. We have some question marks about the experience and not necessarily being proven commodities at the collegiate level yet. But I think secondly, and most importantly, is the versatility. And I think the versatility allows you to mix and match what that secondary is going to be like. Take example, a guy like Zaquan Patterson, who you want to maybe get on the football field if he is really comfortable playing that nickel role, but maybe not so much at the free or strong safety spot. You can slide Mishael Powell back, play him at the free safety spot, and let Zaquan Patterson get on the field. So not only the experience and just a proven production that Mishael Powell brings, he is a damn good football player coming in for Miami, but I think also that versatility, allowing you to get all your playmakers in the back end on the football field. I think that's a massive storyline for this Hurricanes program as well. Mishael Powell, a guy that I think could really emerge at multiple spots for this Hurricanes defense in the back end. Going to my number 3 player, I'm going to go with another transfer portal addition in Sam Brown. And you talk about Sam Brown, and I was not really one of the Hurricane fans in the camp of needing to add a wide receiver in that spring transfer portal window. I was quite comfortable going in with Xavier Restrepo, Jacoby George, Isaiah Horton, and some of the young cats that you had on this roster, guys like Ray and Josiah Trader. You add Sam Brown, the more I've watched this kid at Houston, I am fired up for what he can be and what he can add to this Miami Hurricanes passing attack. And I think what stands out to me about Sam Brown is we were kind of banging the table for if Miami was to add a wide receiver, we wanted it to be, a big-bodied wide receiver that can work on the boundary, can stretch defenses vertically. Sam Brown can be that guy at 6'2", 200 pounds. But I think Sam Brown's not just a one-trick pony in terms of working vertically downfield like maybe Isaiah Horton would have been. You look at Sam Brown and say, this is a tremendous wide receiver after the catch, and you kind of think about how Shannon Dawson wants this offense to operate, what's best for Cam Ward, ball out quick to your playmakers in space, letting them operate after the catch. Sam Brown had over 411 yards after the catch. He had 20 missed tackles forced. This is a ball player after the catch at the wide receiver position, at 17 targets, 20-plus yards down the field last year. So, yes, he gives you that vertical threat that is going to make defenses respect what you can do attacking the deeper third, but he's not a one-trick pony. He provides a lot more value than just that to this Hurricanes wide receiver room. And, again, proven production at the Power 5 level with Houston last year. I'm on board with Sam Brown heading into 2024. Next one on the list, and I feel like every year you kind of just have some of your guys. This one's my guy, and that's Wesley Bissainthe. This was a cat that coming out of Miami Central you thought would need a couple of years to kind of get that collegiate frame at the linebacker spot. It didn't take that long. I thought Wesley Bissainthe played some really good football towards the back half of that 2023 year, and I think we're looking for who that running mate is going to be next to, I should say, Maui Noah. You got a lot of good options. Apparently, true freshman Cam Pruitt, a guy that we loved out of high school, is certainly making a run for some starting or at least some reps at that linebacker spot. I think Wesley Bissainthe is going to be that linebacker too, and I think that's massive because you look at Wesley Bissainthe and say, there's so much juice to this cat. I mean, he operates in space phenomenally well, closes the distance between himself and the ball carrier at a really high level, gives you that coverage ability in space. He also can get after the passer. You saw some really good reps of Wesley Bissainthe challenging offensive tackles off the edge. And we kind of talk about this a lot, the versatility playing such a role in defenses in this era of college football, having guys that can do a variety of different things. You look at Wesley Bissainthe, he can spy the quarterback. He can blitz off the edge. He can tail running backs out of the backfield and man covers. There are so many different things that you can ask Wesley Bissainthe to do from an athletic standpoint going into year 3 as he continues to develop that college frame at the linebacker spot. I think Wesley Bissainthe is in for a massive year for this Hurricanes program. Last breakout player for me, and that's going to go back to the offensive line, Samson Okunlola, Pancake Honcho, as they call him, another guy that we love coming out of high school. And when you talk about Samson Okunlola, you just say the potential is certainly there. And I think the versatility is another thing that I would mention with Samson, a guy that, kind of emerged as that starting right tackle in spring with Maui Noah kind of nursing the injury, a guy that is probably your third offensive tackle, but also a guy that probably starts at guard for this Hurricanes program. And why I think he's important is you look at this offensive line and say, you go from the right side and say, Francis Maui Noah, Inez Cooper, Zach Carpenter, and then Jalen Rivers at the left tackle spot. I think that one vacancy is who is going to be that left guard for that Hurricanes program. And in my mind, I think you're looking at him with Samson Okunlola, a guy that didn't really get on the field as a true freshman, one, just because it's extremely rare. Not everyone can be Francis Maui Noah in terms of stepping on a collegiate football field and starting day one on the line of scrimmage. He battled some injuries. I think he's going to take that step going into year 2. And if he can emerge as an all-conference offensive lineman at the guard spot and then give you some versatility at the tackle spot if you need that at some point during the season, I think that's a massive storyline for this Hurricanes program, you kind of see the blueprint of how Mario Cristobal has built this roster, and that is from the inside out. We want to be a team that's dominating the line of scrimmage. You've seen that reflected in terms of the talent acquisition. I mean, going really, really heavy on the defensive line, bringing in guys like Maui Noah and Samson Okunlola. Mario Cristobal has built this program to dominate other teams on the lines of scrimmage, and Samson Okunlola emerging as that all-conference offensive lineman that we all know he can do, I think would be huge for this Hurricanes program. Those are the five that I have. I think some honorable mentions that I would just personally like to shout out to Mari Brown going into year two. If he can emerge as kind of that legit cornerback two, I could be the cornerback one of this Hurricanes program with the talent level that he has. I think that would be a massive storyline. Akeem Mesidor, I wouldn't necessarily call as a breakout candidate because he really broke out in 2022. If he gets back healthy and you see the version of Akeem Mesidor that we saw in 2022, that's another massive storyline for this Hurricanes program. Those are the five guys I have. Would love to hear some names from you guys. Appreciate y'all rocking with the fellas. Again, if y'all do enjoy the content, consider subscribing to the channel. Appreciate you guys, and we'll talk to y'all later.